Hello again, friends. Thank you for coming back and watching my videos. I really appreciate my subscribers. Thank you so much for watching, for sharing my videos. I pray that you find them valuable, useful. I wanted to talk to you today about some sort of dot-to-dot connections I was making. And before I make the following video, which is going to be regarding the little horn, the Antichrist, I thought it would be interesting to just discuss, unformatted again, but I have made some notes regarding the nature of the Antichrist beast. And the more I was looking into the Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, the PKK, Al-Qaeda, the Middle East is a hot mess, isn't it? It's so complicated. But when I'm reading from the book of Daniel, I'm reading specifically chapters 7 and chapters 8. And I thought it would be a good idea to give this video as sort of a little backdrop before I begin the Bible study regarding the little horn of Daniel. Because the more I'm researching the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, CAIR in America, ISIS, and what's taking place in Iraq, Syria, and now indeed Libya, I'm beginning to see the beast forming behind the scenes, and on the other hand, very openly, very visible. But because the nature of the beast is so complicated, I thought it'd be a good idea to just share with you my findings. So this will be, hopefully, hope to God, please, this will be a short video, and I want to show you what I have come across. Okay, if this is, okay, I'm thinking out loud. If you would, for argument's sake, to make this a little more simpler, I'm trying to make it black and white as possible without it being so difficult to follow. Bear with me. If you would for a moment just consider the Muslim Brotherhood as though it is the Antichrist beast system, how it operates, how it functions, right? Because the Muslim Brotherhood is a political, ideological, military system. Why do I say the military? Because it has Hamas, which is the military wing, the Sunni military wing of the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, together, combine those with CAIR, Council of America. What's the abbreviation for it, guys? But you can look it up, alright? Oh, shall I start again? I need to get the right abbreviations, right? Hold on. People are not going to take me seriously if I mess that up. Council, oh my goodness, I've been reading about it all week. Council of Islamic Relations, isn't that what it is? Okay, Council on American Islamic Relations. Oh my goodness, how embarrassing is that? Anyway, you've got them working behind the scenes in here in America, and they are connected to the Black Lives Matter movement. They are hijacking this movement and taking it for themselves. I've shown you the videos, I've put the links up in my community tab, I've shared articles on my Facebook page, so you can go to the source and read it and vouch for it for yourself, okay? It's all there, it's been there. So now, let's zoom out a little bit. You think about the Asian countries, India, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, including Afghanistan. They also have Muslim Brotherhood, but they have different names. For example, one of them is Jamaat Islamiyah. It's a big organization. It's basically a Muslim Brotherhood front, but they call it different names because Muslim Brotherhood is banned in so many countries. So they have different names, a different setup, but the ideology behind it is exactly the same. They work with different names, but they have the same method of operation. which is indoctrination. They further the agenda of infiltrating the host nation where they are, in government, in politics, and they try to infiltrate in that manner, under the guise of Islam, under the guise of civil liberties, which is exactly what CAIR are doing here. CAIR, Council on American Islamic Nations. Okay, now, right, let's just slow down. So now what do we have? ISIS. Did you know, and I had suspicions regarding this, and there were, at the time when ISIS first kicked off and began its ruthless expeditions in Iraq and Syria, there were allegations made regarding the support base, the funding, financing, and the arming of ISIS, who was behind it. Now, we often hear that the US and the Western nations and even Israel was behind funding ISIS. The Israel connection is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. There's no evidence at all, it's just hearsay. However, did you know, and I'm going to read to you from an article here, and it was dated in, let me get the date, oh my goodness, where's the date, you guys? This website, 2014. Okay, let me read this to you. Columbia University researchers confirmed Turkey's links to ISIS. A team of Columbia University researchers from the United States, Europe and Turkey confirmed last week that the Turkish government has provided support to ISIS. Military cooperation, weapons, logistical support, financial assistance and medical services. This detailed investigation was headed by David L. Phillips, Director of the Program on Peace Building and Rights at Columbia University's Institute for the Study of Human Rights. He had served as Senior Advisor and Foreign Affairs Expert for the U.S. Department of State. Here are brief excerpts from the extensive research documenting the direct links between Turkey and ISIS. So now we're talking about evidence, proof, documentation to make that connection. Number one, Turkey supplied military equipment to ISIS. An ISIS commander told the Washington Post on August the 12th, 2014, I quote, "Most of the fighters who joined us in the beginning of the war came via Turkey, and so did our equipment and supplies." Turkey provided logistical assistance to ISIS fighters. Documents made public on September the 27th, 2014 revealed that Saudi Prince Bandar bin Sultan financed the transportation of arms to ISIS through Turkey. Isn't that interesting? As I'm reading this, now backtrack and bear in mind the relationship between Mystery Babylon, the harlot, the great harlot, the mother of harlots, and the beast. Remember, she as the harlot is riding the beast, showing us that she is in very close proximity to the beast and in close relation to the beast. It's as though she has created the beast, and yet the beast will eventually switch on her and devour her. Now, so you've got the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, CAIR, Jamaat Islamiyah covering a wide region across the world. Now you've got their various sort of offshoot groups in Europe as well. And again, I mentioned America. These organizations that have Islamic causes, and who's really funding them, where they're getting their resources from. Also, the connection between Muslim Brotherhood and Turkey. That goes back a while. Do you remember the incidents with Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist? It was alleged that he was Muslim Brotherhood agent. It was still a despicable act what took place there. The murdering of Jamal Khashoggi was really awful, very gruesome. But you see, they have this hatred, animosity between them, the Turks and the Arabs, and it will come to a head. The Bible is telling us to keep an eye on this region. It's very, very hostile There's a lot of friction in that region. Of course, the Muslim Brotherhood are very tight with Turkey, and I'm trying to get this article that talks about it. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, I believe this is it. Turkey becomes the biggest Muslim Brotherhood backer in the world. This was in May 2013 by Ilhan Tanir. Lorenzo Vidino's interest in Islamism started in Milan when he was playing football in the streets and watched Muslims heading off a jihad in the Bosnian War with the help of an imam in a local mosque. More than a decade ago, Vidino brought his knowledge to Washington to teach at George Washington University and speak to universities, media outlets and federal institutions, hoping they appreciate and possibly adopt his views on the world's leading Islamist movement, the Muslim Brotherhood. In an interview with Ahval at DC Cafe, Vidino said Turkey's ruling Islamists in the Justice and Development Party, the AKP, Erdogan's party, are linked to the Muslim Brotherhood, known as the Ikhwan in Arabic. The Ikhwan is international and its strategies and tactics are different in each country, he said, though the various national chapters often communicate and cooperate with each other. Is it any wonder why Obama was very tight with Erdogan? And is it any wonder why many people have made the connection between Obama and the Muslim Brotherhood? And I actually am one of those people. I believe he is and was a Muslim Brotherhood agent, Obama. So you see how complicated this is. It's not very straightforward or clear cut. Now, let's go and consider the Saudi Arabian aspect. Saudi Arabia had Al-Qaeda. Now, and the 9/11 fiasco. We know through that Saudi Arabia has been very intimately involved with the United States of America, and I would even include Great Britain and some other Western nations, European nations, in funding, in lobbying. Because if you would watch, I'll put the link under the description, Lloyd and Jan Irvin did a series called Demystifying Islam, and there's a particular episode in that series where they go through the financing of the Muslim Brotherhood and how it's, in fact, when you really follow the money, you will find the trail leads you back to Arabia, Saudi Arabia. The ones who spend and pay the most is in Arabia. It's not Israel. That is another red herring. It's a distraction. So you've got this other aspect, and you wonder why nobody calls out Saudi Arabia for its human rights abuses, its funding of terrorism around the world. However, it finances mosques, it funds all the universities in America. Not all the universities, that's such a generalizing statement. There are some universities in America that we know for a fact the funding has come directly from Saudi Arabia. So, okay, so now let's take a look. What does this all mean, you guys? What's the consequence? The consequence is that they are heading towards a showdown together. They're fighting for power, supremacy, and control of the region. Mecca, the shrine in Arabia, is the heart of Islam. But the rightful heirs, Saudi Arabia, are considered unlawful. In fact, many Muslim nations consider Saudi Arabia to be a harlot. They detest her being a installed puppet from the West, and they consider, I say her as a nation, that her authority over the shrine in Mecca is illegal. They don't feel that she's the rightful guardian. So, where's this all going to lead? So when you look now back at the Bible and you're talking about prophecy regarding the book of Daniel, the book of Revelation, you actually see this playing out in the biblical scriptures. Another thing I wanted to say was this situation right now taking place in Iraq and in Syria, and of course Turkey is now in Libya. So much to talk about. I'm trying to do this video as a little backdrop to my next video regarding Bible prophecy. ISIS, right. The PKK and the YPG, the Turkish Resistance or the resistant fighters, right? It was alleged that they were fighting off ISIS, and this is one of the reasons why the Trump administration was very supportive of the PKK and the YPG, because apparently they were fighting off ISIS. But I just read to you an article showing the connection between Turkey and ISIS. The funding, the military support, the resources were actually coming from Turkey. I see this, that ISIS were supported, funded, I would say even created by Turkey. You see, it's like as though ISIS are the orcs, you know, the orcs of the Lord of the Rings. They go in and they make a lot of mess, and they cause a lot of chaos. They help to break up in pieces the region in order to prepare the ground for Turkey to usher in. ISIS launched massive attacks and insurgency in Iraq and in Syria. Who is there now? Turkey. Turkey is now invading those very regions, which is why the Kurdish resistors are looking to the west and to say, where are you now? You've left us, you've deserted us. So you've got Turkey looking to America and saying, well done for calling out the BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, Antifa rather. He was congratulating Trump on labeling Antifa as a terrorist organization, and he wants Trump to also label the PKK as a terrorist organization. Why is he saying that to Trump? It's because the West, the America, support for the PKK and the YPG was present during the time they were fighting off ISIS. But then hold on a minute, Turkey was supporting ISIS. So is this the reason why Turkey is now going heavy-handed directly to the PKK? They want to clean up the Kurdish shop themselves, do a proper job. You see, it's just insidious. It's crazy, isn't it, how evil operates? So another thing with ISIS is the name. So Obama used to call ISIS ISIL, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant. Well, the Levant includes a wider region than just Turkey and Syria. It includes Israel too. So it's like as though, I mean, people have made this allegation saying that, you see, this is why Israel's behind the creation of ISIS, because ISIS never invaded or never made any insurgents inside Israel. Well, I would say the reason behind that is because, first of all, in order for there to be a complete Islamic invasion of Israel, and so they can claim Jerusalem for themselves, is that there is a disunity within the Islamic world between the Sunni and the Shia, the Turks and the Arabs, that they don't have a united front to confront Israel. But that day is coming soon. The Bible tells us that Israel will be surrounded by armies and that its desolation will be near, draw near. Now, we've got to think, why is Turkey doing these insurgents? Why is Turkey doing these invasions right now? Because remember, the 100 years of the Treaty of Lausanne is almost over. In the year 2023, that it would have been 100 years. So Turkey will be now free from the restrictions that were put upon them as a secular state, the secular nation of Turkey. Because prior to that, it was the Islamic Ottoman Empire. So they're coming to the end of the 100 years. This is why it's flexing his muscles and venturing out to secure support and to secure resources as well in the region. And then once it's made its let's say once it's gained its stronghold in certain regions, Libya, Sudan, Iraq, Syria, then its focus will be Israel after everything else. Now, do you remember a while ago that there was an article that suggested friction between Iran and Turkey? Here's an article. This is going to be a long video, I know. What is behind the hostility between Iran and Turkey? This is in 2017. You know where I'm going with this. Daniel chapter 7 and Daniel chapter 8. In fact, what I would urge my listeners right now to do is, after I'm done with this video, please read those 2 chapters, and so by the time I've done the following video, the Bible study, you'll be better prepared, and you'll be able to follow with me a little more easy. Now, the post-ISIL power vacuum in the region has brought tensions between Iran and Turkey to a head, analysts say. Analysts were saying that there is this growing hostility between Turkey and Iran. This was back in February 2017. But if you would stop and look at their relations right now, there's no sign, there's no evidence of any existing hostility right now. But I believe the Bible is true, and what is written here will come to pass. There will come a time where this previous hostility that existed between Turkey and Iran will get rekindled, fired up again. Why? Because they're both wanting dominance in the region. The Shiite Crescent, you probably heard of that before, right? And then you've got the Turkish Ottoman Crescent, if you like, wants to also spread out its tentacles. So this Islamic infighting is going to continue, like I've said repeatedly in my videos. It's going to continue until there is a confederation, until there is an agreement, a security sort of peace treaty formed, like a league with many nations that will include Israel. But you think about the chaos that is kicking off right now. In one of my last 2 videos, I read to you an article from the Jerusalem Post about the last 24 hours, this is a week ago now, where there's so much conflict taking place in the Middle East, and it's going to change everything permanently. So we know that the hostilities are going to increase, which will lead to a regional peace treaty, a regional contract for peace. So hostilities will cease within the region, because they're really at each other's throats right now. You have Turkey and Egypt at war in Libya also. And then you've also got Saudi Arabia having its own problems with the Houthi rebels, and it goes on and it goes on. Now, what's happening now, right now in America and the UK and predominantly the West with the Black Lives Matter movement, you're seeing the beginning of the Islamic beast spreading its tentacles now in the West. I want to read to you something really important. I'm going to put all these links under the description, friends, so you can go through them yourself. You recall the protocols of the Elders of Zion, right? And it was proven to be a hoax, a forgery. And people who are anti-Jewish used that to hate on the Jewish people, right? Nazi Germany and what have you, the pogroms. There's this document that is very, very concerning. It's been around for a while, and I'm going to read excerpts of it to you. Phases of World Underground Movement Plan. And as I read these phases, there are 5. Tell me, does this remind you of the Muslim Brotherhood? And you make the connection. You make the connection yourself. Phase 1. Phase of discreet and secret establishment of elite leadership. This phase has already been implemented in this country. Phase 2. Phase of gradual appearance on the public scene and exercising and utilizing various public activities. It greatly succeeded in implementing this stage. It also succeeded in achieving a great deal of its important goals, such as infiltrating various sectors of the government. Think of Ilan Omar. Phase 3. Escalation phase. Prior to conflict and confrontation with the rulers through utilizing mass media. Currently in progress. Phase 4. This document is related to the plan, the 5-phase plan the Muslim Brotherhood have in the West. Phase 4. Open public confrontation with the government through exercising the political pressure approach. It is aggressively implementing this approach right now. Training on the use of weapons domestically and overseas in anticipation of the 0 hour. Phase 5. This is the clincher. Seizing power to establish the Islamic nation under which all parties, remember all the various groups that they have around the world, including the extremist groups, seizing power to establish the Islamic nation under which all parties and Islamic groups become united, as stated by Muhammad Zain al-Abidin in his newspaper Al-Sunnah and Muhammad Ahmad al-Rashid. All the above mentioned phases are preliminary steps to reach the above mentioned phase. The underground movement is also a plan exclusive to the post-seizure of power stage. Maybe I'll end this video here. It's a lot of information, I know. I'm going to give you the link so you can check them out for yourselves. And now that I've hopefully I have shown you kind of the bigger picture in the Islamic world, the disagreements, the hostilities, the struggle for power within Islamic nations, the wannabe superpowers that are fighting for hegemony in the region and including the West, will give you a good backdrop understanding before we delve into the scriptures regarding the Antichrist beast kingdom. This little horn is just that. When he comes in, he has a little authority, he's a small ruler. He doesn't come in like he's a great ruler, he's got a great horn. No, he comes in as the little horn, very unsuspecting, but he grows in strength, he grows in power. And the region where he grows in strength and grows in power is in the Middle East. Turbulent times are coming, friends. Continue to pray, keep your eyes peeled, and I will be back with the Bible study video regarding this person of the Antichrist and how he's going to come and take center stage. And again, I repeat, I don't believe we're that far off. I pray to the Lord that he will allow for more time, that the gospel might go forth. But he's been ever so patient with us already, and don't we long for his return? Right? Anyway, for the sake of the lost, I pray that he will continue to be gracious and merciful. I'll be back again soon, so please remember to read Daniel's chapter 7 and 8, and when I bring out the Bible study, you would have already been familiar with those scriptures. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you.